Moving on to critical reading now. So critical reading is quite tricky. So I'm going to explain to you as much as I can, as best as I can, how I would go ahead and hit something like this. So rather than getting an hour, you're getting an hour and a half, because you need to do a Scottish set text and you need to write an essay on the book, the play, the movie, whatever it might be that you're doing just now. So Scottish set text comes first, 20 marks. You can do them actually either or. You can do section 2 first if you want, or you can do section 1. It's totally up to you. I've got no advice for you there. Total preference. I think that I just done it in the usual. I think I just done set text first and then the critical essay. But I know people that have gone, okay, I know my introduction really well. I'm going to go and write that down straight away and then come back to my set text. So it's up to you how you want to hit it. As I say, I done the set text first and then the essay, but totally up to you. So to quickly go through it fast, I'm going to go to a poet that I know that a lot of people do. So you could do, you know what, we'll just say Carol Ann Duffy, for the sake of saying Carol Ann Duffy. Obviously you get Edwin Morgan, and so on. So Carol Ann Duffy, again, similar to the RUE, I know these poems already. I don't really need to read through them as critically as I would need to with RUE. Either or, I'm going to look at the questions first and then see what lines it tells me to go to. You can see that, pardon me, you can see that in every single one of these questions, there's one key thing that comes up, and it's something that we hit on in RUE before. Language, 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 language. And then this is a different question, but language. You can use any of these to go and hit the language questions. What would say my best advice for set text? Know your poems inside out. I know them so well to the extent I could recite them word by word when I was doing my exams. And there's loads and loads of ways to do that. I might make a separate video if you want to know how to go and learn, you know, big parts of text really well. So if I do make that, go into the channel, go and have a look through and see if you can find that. I'll keep it in a English playlist so you can go and have a look at that. However, learn these poems off by heart. So you should get given 6 poems. I know that some get given more, some given less. Could be short stories, you give them more, you're given less. You understand what I'm saying? You've been given the right amount by your teacher. Learn everything that you've been given. There's a reason you've been given it. Learn it. So the reason that you need to learn them is, one, it's going to help you so much. If you know Mrs. Stilcher's class inside out, you can go and hit these questions no bother, because you know exactly what every single thing here is saying. No problem. But the real reason you need to know them is the question, the poem that doesn't come up. You're going to need to know another poem off by heart for this last question, a 8 marker, which I'm going to go through and talk about. So, let me go on a new page here. So an 8 mark question. 8 marker question. And I'm just going to put SSD, Scottish set text. Well, an 8 mark question, there's 3 parts to it. Part number 1, as I said, you need to know the poem that's on the page. This one, so Mrs. Stilcher's class. You need to know another Carol Ann Duffy poem. And you're going to summarise both of them. So you're going to go, right, okay, in Mrs. Stilcher's class, if I can spell, that would be pretty good. How do you spell Stilcher's? Stilcher's class. And Mrs. So in Mrs. Stilcher's class by Carol Ann Duffy. Blah blah blah. You summarise that much you can. So summarise what it's about, what it means, what it's talking about. Obviously we know that for the sake of Mrs. Dilcher's class, it's talking about what it's like to be in a classroom as a young person and almost growing up and so on. You're going to explain all this. That's the same way Edwin Morgan or any other poem, any other short story. Explain what you're trying to say. Then the key part to this wee summary is what's the key topic, the key theme throughout. So I would go ahead and probably say, I'd say explain the key theme. So I'm going to explain the key theme. This is all within the same wee paragraph. It doesn't need to be long. 3 sentences, 2 sentences, that's okay. Make sure that your key theme that you say in the first wee section is the same as the poem that you're going to talk about elsewhere. So this links pretty nicely with the poem originally. So originally by Carol Ann Duffy. ... And then the same again. It's you summarise and explain the key theme. So you can see the similarities between those. You need to do pretty much the same thing for both. Now, you're going to use one of these language. Now you're going to use some of these question types that we went through already. So, just to summarise what we said about set text, the 8-mark question, we're going to summarise. So summarise poem on the page, summarise the poem elsewhere. Going to use your question types to answer 2 questions about the question, or 2 answers that you've been given. Or 2 answers for the questions you've been given, sorry. So, it's talking about powerful emotions. So, why is, the theme described impacted by powerful emotions within this text? Give 2 answers on it about the poem on the page. Do the same, but for the poem elsewhere that you've said in here. So obviously originally we've said it could be any short story, so on, and you do that 6 times. So that twice, that's 6 times. That's you sorted. Now, to move on, again, I know a lot of people do Shakespeare, so I'm just going to go with Shakespeare, but again, it's going to be the same applies to your prose, it's going to be the same for your poetry, film and TV, drama, or language, totally based on what you are doing. So, drama, let's say that we are going to be talking about Macbeth. For example, look and decide which question you would prefer. So either one that contains an interesting character. You'd be surprised if you're doing a book, a play, a movie, anything about something that doesn't have an interesting character. So that's already make me think I'm going to pick that. Or choose a play with an important theme. Again, same applies. 99% of, I'm going to actually say 100% of things that I've seen have an interesting theme, an important theme in them. So either or really, whatever you want to do. I'm going to say this one for the sake of ease. How we're going to do this? This is very much based on knowing your stuff. You need to know your stuff. You need to know your quotes. You need to know an introduction. You need to know a conclusion, right? So as I say, you need to know an introduction. You need to do 4 main paragraphs. This depends on what you're doing, but the general gist is you need to know 4 main paragraphs. So I'll just put that in here. And then a conclusion. So, introduction. What I would say with an introduction is, a lot of you guys out there that are watching right now, your teacher has made you an introduction already. But the chances are, you're watching me, so you've not learned it. Go ahead, get in your Jot or go learn it. Get in your Microsoft Teams, get in your Google Classroom, whatever it might be, wherever your notes are, get it learned. However, if you do not have model introduction from your teacher, the email, if you go to www.jasmshooter.com, my email, my phone number is all there. If you want to send me a message, if you want to send me an email, we can get back and we can try and arrange something to help write you an introduction. Essentially, the introduction, the point of it is you're trying to summarise what you're about to speak about. You're trying to explain who wrote it, what the play is, what the movie is, blah blah blah. all these things concised into this introduction. All resources that you might need if you go and visit www.jadamshooter.com. Resources on there, go and have a look. Your main body paragraphs. So, main body. If you're looking for a main body paragraph, I would really write it in this sort of format. This is what really helped me in school. So it's called PCQRCQRL. What this is it is point, context, quote, response, and then all that again, so you can see the response here and it just repeats itself. So I'm going to copy this and then link. So what the point is just your overall idea about what you want to speak about in that paragraph. Your context, what context means is you're just giving background knowledge on something that's happened. So the context of your point, the context of the quote that you're about to say, the context of the whole idea that you're about to speak about. So this is just giving background knowledge. Your quote is pretty self-explanatory. The quotes that you have learned, you're just going to type them right in there, write them right in there. Your response is you're then going to respond to the quote that you've just said and everything that you've said before it and go, you know, this quote shows that, and explain what the quote means in the context of what you're talking about. You're going to repeat everything that you've just said again until you get to the link. The link is basically the glue that brings everything back together to back up your original point and to back up the question you've been given. So the question that we get given was about how the writer makes this character interesting. So we're going to tie that all together and explain why what we've said shows the writer made this character interesting. That's you. You need to do this 4 times. Again, it varies. Some teachers might tell you to do it 3 times. Some might tell you to do it 5 times. Really up to yourself and how good your writing is. I know in some essays I've done 5 main paragraphs. I know some I've done 4. Up to yourself. Same again with the conclusion. In the sense that your teacher is probably giving you a model conclusion. Learn it off by heart, write it right in. If not, send me an email. We can try and organise something. Again, in your introduction and your conclusion, they're specific to that essay that it was written for. However, it's normally just a couple of sentences you need to change to make it specific to the question you're trying to answer. So, yeah, I hope that helps. I'm going to zoom back out so that you can, if you want to take a screenshot, you can take a screenshot, fire in. But, yeah, again, with English, 90% waffle. If you're a good waffler, you're going to be good at English, okay? Don't get too flustered about it. It's just a bit of waffle. However, as I say every video, we've only scratched the surface today. There's so much more to it. I could speak for hours upon hours about everything that we've spoken about today. We've only scratched the surface. So if you really want to smash it, if you really want to kind of know the ins and outs of everything that we've spoken about, get in touch. Go and book your slot on www.jadamshooter.com. Go and have a look. I'll put a link in the description. The link's on the Instagram and TikTok bio. Go and have a look. Go and get yourself booked in. We've only scratched the surface today. There's so much more. But yeah, nice one. Wish you all the best with the exam.